Lawrence Ado listening from Dambai. We missed you last week. Thank you very much, Lawrence. Well, you know it, folks. We start the way we start. Some of you have learned to say it by now. Some are able to, say it with me. Either way, let's go. Until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. And we'll say that again. Well, folks, I said until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. Hello, and welcome to the most opinionated hour on radio and the nation's thought-provoking hour. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for staying tuned. And thank you for staying loyal. Another wonderful Monday with us together and make truth good. Though it's a very needless bank holiday, but hey, here we are, very blessed to be here to perform the all-important ritual. A ritual that has highlighted many important national changing issues. At least we get to think about it. A ritual that brings out the Ghanaian in us. So we hold this ritual very dear. I am Nana Ansah Kwao IV, Chief of the Little Republic of Akwemu Edumasa. Right here on Joy 99.7 FM every Monday at the same time. Don't forget to tune in. We've been doing this for years. Sometimes somebody goes, oh, this is the first time listening. Really? Where have you been? Every Monday you must tune in. Folks, our topic is road safety through wishful thinking. We want to attain road safety, but through wishful thinking. Now, this will not be the first time we are treating the road hazards on our show, yet we can't relent. Someone, and I can't seem to remember the name, he told me one day that, Nana, the most dangerous thing to do is to lose hope. No matter how bleak it seems, you must hang on to hope. And I agree with him. Folks, because to think of it, if we just lose hope, it will spell doom. It will spell doom if we lost hope. However, today's show would make this assertion very difficult, but in spite of that, I say, let us all hang in there. Folks, in life and by the laws of nature, be it in heaven or earth, before any person, an angel, an animal, maybe even an extraterrestrial, before they are let loose, given their free will to go and come as they please, they would have gone through some training, some nurturing, some guidance, some teachings, some shaping, sharpening, correcting, straightening. They will have to learn the rules of the game. They will have to obey the rules and laws of the game. And finally, put through a test. Then and only then will they be given the free will to go and come as they please. I think the only thing that seems to, not fall into this thing is marriage. That's for marriage, you go in blind and, hope to God that it works out. There's no practice and shaping and straightening anything. It's very strange, isn't it? For how important marriage is, but there isn't any school or anything that you have to attend a school and get a degree to say, listen, I have a certificate in marriage. But that's another topic. But by this rule, folks, the general majority will conform to the right tenets of the said activity. though you will get a few who will slip. That also is the rule of nature. Folks, when the general majority conforms to the right way of doing things, then it becomes a culture which is passed on to the next generation, and it's easy then to manage. Most importantly, the system is not overwhelmed with wrongdoers. Folks, once you have gone through all this shaping, structuring, everything, and it becomes a culture and you're passing it on from generation to generation, the system is not overwhelmed with wrongdoers. Folks, until this process is done, in whatever field, do not expect to be left alone at your own will. And if you do leave people at their own will without going through this ritual, you also do not expect any sensible activity to happen within that field. Yes, you will get then a few who will comport, but then the majority would mess you up. But this is the sowing before the reaping of discipline becomes a culture. Folks, this is the sowing before the reaping of discipline becomes a culture. It is not achieved through pampering or let's manage it like that. He's poor, leave him alone. He's friends with the president's brother, let him go. He's a minister. Oh, go and settle this at home. No, folks, no. For discipline to be a culture, for generations to practice it as a second nature, it starts with drilling it down, hammering it down. No nonsense approach, no holds barred. And the chips should fall where they may. Any ox, whoever owns it, can and may be God. Right after the education, folks, it's war. Right after education, it is war. But, folks, when life, the most precious, valuable of all things, is involved, then it's brimstone and fire. Forget about war. It's Armageddon. So the reason why others have it as a culture, i.e. discipline, it's not because they were shown cartoons of if you drink, don't drive, if you drive, don't drink. No. If you were caught drinking, it was straight to prison or a ban from driving or a heavy fine. Cartoons for the where? Heavy fines. And talking about fines, the last time I was talking about road accidents and road hazards, and I was saying that currently, with the amount of impunity on our roads, the police could use the fines to actually, equip themselves. The police could actually go out there and fine people as a punishment to actually, they could even loan the Ghana government money for the amount of damage we do on the roads and the amount of impunity on the roads. They could use that fines to actually run this country. But again, it was like, oh, no, don't go there, Nana. The fines were too heavy. Forget about that. People were against it, as usual. We want safe roads, but we want it through wishful thinking. Yes, we want the roads to be safe, like that's of those of Sweden, those of Switzerland. But it has to be done through wishful thinking. Don't fine us, don't arrest us, don't tell us off. Just think it through for the roads to be safe. And I am saying it is war. And when life is affected, folks, it is Armageddon. Look, there was a bus traveling to France from the UK. The bus fell in a ditch. One of the girls got hurt. I don't even think anybody died. The next day, few days later, there was a law passed. Every bus should have seat belts, case closed. Dunblane massacre. Some lunatic goes to a school with a handgun, shoots the teacher and a couple of the kids. That's it. handguns are banned. You see, that's how the wars are started. When something happens, there's a policy to say that in order for this thing not to happen again, this law is in place, and that's it. The question is, are we ready for the needed revolution to make the roads safe? Folks, are we ready for the needed revolution that will make the road safe without threatening the government that, well, if you're going to tell us to check our tires and put seat belts on and get our cars insured and checked, then we're not going to vote for you. Here we are, folks, slaughtering 2,000 human beings a year. Here we are slaughtering 2,000 human beings a year on the roads and maiming tens of thousands. And with Okada menace, it's now just gone through the roof. There are some hospitals who are now even refused. If you come and it's the Okada accident, they don't even want to look at you because you're just going to occupy bed space for your own stupidity. I said it once, that I don't think we kill that many goats or sheep on our roads as we do humans. Yes, we have goats and sheep crossing the roads every day, but I don't think we slaughter 2,000 goats a year. Folks, I did a research some time back, and this was when the Iraqi war was going on. The number of people who were dying on the road, the N1 stretch from the mall to McCarthy Hill, were more than the soldiers dying at war in Iraq. 14-kilometer stretch of road. It was more dangerous than being deployed to Iraq, where the Taliban then was out there looking for you to kill you. You stood a better chance of surviving than just traveling from the mall to McCarthy Hill. Can you imagine? Folks, if our forefathers drove in the numbers that we do, we would have come to meet oaths and taboos and do's and don'ts that stops us from killing ourselves on the road. They would have said that, listen, if you do 30 above the speed limit, your wife will miscarriage. So every man doing 30 goes to 29 and stop because he doesn't want a miscarriage at home. If you double the speed limit, the wind will blow your God-given grace away. And a funeral will not be held for you should you die at that speed. They would have made sure that death at all costs will be zero. Before you were given a license, they will make you swear by the gods that you will never cause any injury or death in this car. And people will take their license and swear. Me kantam se asefidi amudi bema mi. Me no monsan kakai. Me fa ni odin bi anko kakai meto me bo. No bi anko ankopra. They would have done that. But unfortunately, the modern African has no sense or spirit of never again. Unfortunately, the modern African has no sense or spirit of never again. So we live through predictable tragedies. We live through predictable tragedies. With no oath, no pledges, no care, and above all, no shame. Above all, we go through all that with no shame, just wishing that our roads will be safe. Folks, a couple of days ago, a religious gathering in Israel, and there was a stampede. 41 people died. The Prime Minister has spoken. All authorities that matters have spoken. Some have taken the responsibility. The nation's flags are at half-mast. Independent inquiry will be set up. And the main aim is that this tragedy should not happen again. Here we are. 17 children drowned in the sea. No national mourning, no lowering of flag, nothing. 63 people crashed and burned in one accident. Nothing. And thousands of such tragedies all here. 23 dead, 22 dead, 14. I mean, the numbers. all year. Life to us just means nothing until some high flyer or some celebrity is involved. Until then, you'll be lucky even if you can make the news. You'll be lucky to even make the news. So, folks, what I'm saying is, this is generally who we have become. So, how do we make our roads safe? If generally this is what we have become, we can live through tragedies with no shame. We have no regard to life. We don't want to be restricted. We don't want to go through training and sharpening and straightening and testing. We don't want to do all that. How do we make our roads safe? Now, when I sent the broadcast of the show out, I got a message from engineer Kwame Boachi, a civil engineer and a consultant in Accra, and it reads, I thought it was a nice message. It says, "Oh, Nana, it's going to be very bad as both the population and the number of vehicles increase. The economy is also growing, yet the length of roads remain the same. And their condition even deteriorates. Can you believe in 9 years, i.e. 2030, when the population is 38 million, there will be close to 4 million vehicles in Ghana, up from the current 2.5 million. Can you imagine how chaotic the system will be? We need to act fast, and there are solutions." Now, Kwame is one of the sharp brains that I always say that, when you are shaping or formulating policies, he should be around the table. Folks, then I got a message from Nana Ansah here, another ardent road safety advocate. And he had a brilliant idea as to how do we solve this problem. Now, what he's saying is that because of our culture of big manism, our culture of little, give me 2 cities here, give me 2 cities there, we should have a computerized system. As much as possible, reduce the human element, which threatens the usual corporal that, well, if you do the right thing, I am going to transfer you to, some God-forbidden land. But if you automate the system, then people can work. We have been blessed with biometric identification, a digital addressing system, and that's the hard work that's been done. The hard work has been done. And so if we really want safe roads, then this is the platform to build it on. Folks, another question is, can we bite the bullet required for road safety? Tens of thousands of youth, all on bikes and tricycles for their daily living, killing themselves as though they were reenacting World War I. Huge numbers. Instead of learning sustainable skills, they want quick fixes. And so it's hop on a bike. And once you can just ride, off you go. Forget about safety, forget about the rules. We cannot regulate slow-moving tracks. We cannot regulate tracks that are even not moving, dead ones just by the side of the road. We can't regulate them. How do we attempt to regulate these fast little rascals on their motorbikes? Slow-moving tracks. Tracks that are parked. They are not even going anywhere, they are parked. We can't regulate them. We can't do anything about them. How do we regulate these little rascals who are prepared to outrun the police? Folks, I recently came from Tamale by road. What an amazing journey it was. We must have driven past about 30 police posts. Yet, these overloaded charcoal trucks make it to Accra. We can't stop them. How is that possible? You see trucks really loaded with charcoal. I mean, they've just mounted it way above. And it's coming all the way from Techiman or Kintampo or further down. And they still make it through all the police posts and get to Accra. How is that possible? Folks, at what age and with what experience do we agree to let one drive a passenger vehicle? What will be the insurance risk as compared to their ages and experience? What will it be? Can we retest drivers to see who is fit to be on the road? Should we even set an educational standard to say there must be a minimum standard before you get behind the steering wheel, since all the instructions you're going to see on the road will be in English? And even if it's in Tree, you will still have to have some degree to be able to read Tree. Even if it's in Tree, as well, you need a bigger degree to read Tree. Should we agree onto something like that? What are the penalties for the big buses companies whose buses crash a bit too often? Is it that you just crash and buy the next bus and just crash and then buy the next bus? What are the penalties? How severe is it? So before we go to the roads are bad, the politician is wicked, I want us to focus on our bad, impatient attitudes and our culture that we have picked up. Because, funny enough, it's when the roads are good that we kill ourselves the more. So, in a way, the wicked politicians are doing us a favor, because the more good roads they provide, the more we shall kill ourselves. So for today, I want us to put us down and just look at our attitude. Bear in mind that this problem only exists in the cities. If you go to many towns, there aren't enough cars nor good roads to cause any havoc. All our 2.5 million cars are mainly in Accra, Kumasi, and the regional capitals. However, most cars in Ghana would have to drive through Accra at least once a month because everything is in Accra. Folks, can we really put our foot down and say enough is enough? Now again, as I sent my broadcast out, those of you who are on my broadcast list, my good auntie Edie sent her message, and from the length and passion I could tell she is fed up. Most of you know her as Nana Brooks from Spintex, and she says road safety depends on us, the individuals. It's got little to do with the politician. Driver, whether private or commercial, on the road should think their safety first and that of the passengers. It's common sense and hasn't got anything to do with any politician. Obeying the rules on the road are due to the individual, and if you don't, the long arm of the law must deal with you. That's where law enforcement must work. If a driver is on a bad road, to me, he has to use his brains. You can't just say the road is bad, but I will speed on it. Get involved in an accident and tend to blame the politician. Yes, the politician should make sure the roads are done, but Rome wasn't built in a day, so we should always have our thinking caps on. How many of us pay taxes anyway? We need education on all these to let citizenry know that road building and maintenance comes from our taxes. Then comes the big one to crown it all, Rule of law, rule of law, rule of law. Law enforcement, law enforcement. If people don't get punished for wrongdoing in the country, then this time on our roads, if people don't get punished for wrongdoing in the country, and this time on our roads to serve as a deterrent to others, then I'm sorry, we ain't going anywhere. We are all thinking of money all the time. So the driver speeds because he wants to do more trips for more money. Instead of policeman arresting, the latter is also thinking of money. So we'll take a few cities from the driver and let him off the cycle. And the cycle goes on. There will never be road safety in the country. Ghanaians must start receiving punishment for wrongdoing to deter others. Otherwise, the indiscipline on our roads and everywhere else in the country will never stop. Rule of law enforcement is the name of the game. The question is, are we ready? Folks, are we ready to bite that bullet that really delivers road safety? Well, you can tell me. It's 0302-216-541. We have no value for life. 60 can die, 20 can die, 30 can die. We don't care. No national mourning, no lowering of flag. If you are lucky and it's close to election time, then you can get your hospital bills paid for. But if somebody elections in my idea, if you get an accident, you are finished. Folks, it's 0302-216-541. Okay, so who's my first caller?
Nana, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you doing?
I'm very well.
Yeah, today's World Press Freedom Day, so I just hope that you give me the chance to also express myself. I disagree with you. Criticism goes to the people. I disagree. It's still the back stops with the politician. When there is a rickety vehicle that goes through the DVLA, DVLA boss is appointed by the politician, the system, the president, or whoever is in charge of the transport ministry. Therefore, if that vehicle gets to the bus terminal for someone to go and sit in, what is the fault of the person sitting in that vehicle? Because that's the only option available at the lorry terminal. It is not their fault at all. We pay street light levy. You are told at the motorway, the lights are not working. They use concrete to build the motorway. Now they are using bitumen to fill it. Does it make sense to you? Who is in charge of that? You can talk about all the problems that we face, the trust we have. Look at the seats. They are death traps. Vehicles come. The IRL vehicles come. Our taxis are used to buy those vehicles. What happens? They park them. They sell them to themselves. Is that my problem? Then finally, I think that you ought to apologize to us, especially people who use the Okada, because you use the word stupid, and sometimes people use even the slimness of the F word, and they are made to apologize. Both you demand that or your colleagues. Therefore, I also demand that you apologize, because if you look at Rwanda, this thing is working there because they regularize it by legalizing it. Therefore, people are being educated, and then they can ride this and ride it well. Our system, look at the traffic situation. The politician always is in hazard, trying to get through traffic. What about someone who is supposed to get somewhere? Last time, Saturday, there was a massive traffic on the motorway caused by just something that the police could have run there to solve. Therefore, some people take their Okada and quickly they went to wherever they are going. So again, it's a system. Okay, so it is not the fault of the people taking the Okada. And if a doctor fails to take care of people who have gotten an accident as a result of Okada, and you are supporting the doctors that they don't want to even see the people.
Hello?
Rather, you should be calling them to book the doctors who refuse to look after Okada people and not glorify their actions, because already we don't have good medical system or medical doctors here in Ghana. So if somebody's limb is broken, they ought to fix it. That is their job. It is not their job to not determine that you are on the Okada or not. That is not their job. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. But I hope you've seen the stupidity of some of these Okada riders. The stupidity, let me repeat, the stupidity of some of these Okada riders. And if you haven't seen it, then I'm shocked. Now, bear in mind, I am a keen biker. I am an absolute keen biker. I ride. So if I'm complaining about the stupidity of these drivers, I expect you to support me so that if they are listening, they straighten up. I'm not saying everybody on a motorbike is stupid. No. But look at what they are doing on the roads. Are you happy with that? I don't think so. I'm not saying that the doctor shouldn't attend to them. I'm saying some hospitals have refused to attend to them because of how the negligence and the danger they put themselves in. So, well, I stand my ground. Hello, who's talking to me?
Hello, Nana. Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Andy. I'm calling from Tema.
Let me hear you, my brother.
Nana, you just don't say the Okada riders are stupid. Those who drive the Land Cruisers, they are more stupid than the Okada drivers. Excuse my language. Just yesterday, I counted 36 Land Cruisers from Central University, just between Central University and Donia Town, coming from Ada. Nana, my goodness. And they call themselves big men.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Just now, as listening to you, I'm driving from Timo Market Roundabout in Tema towards Gulf City. Just under the bridge, the railway line, a truck driver just parked in the middle of the road, put on the hazard, just went out of the car and said he was going to collect something across the street. And I asked him, what do you think you are doing? Somebody was just behind me, putting his horn and just telling me to get out and move. Can you believe that?
So my question for this show is that, are we ready to bite the bullet to bring the discipline on the road?
Nana,
that's what I'm asking.
I don't think we are.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
I don't think we are.
So the reason why I'm not blaming politicians or whatever was I'm asking that we, the citizenry, the guy who rang earlier was talking about rickety seats in Trotro. Should the government say today that the spacing between the Trotro seats is too close and therefore you can't work? Do you know the uproar? He'll probably call again and say the government is taking food from the Trotro driver's mouth. So I'm asking the question.
That's true.
Well, thank you for calling, but that's the nature of this show. I'm asking, right? Don't blame the politician. Should the politician wake up today and decide that something, we are going to make these roads as good as UK, as good as Sweden, as good as wherever it is? Can we bite that bullet? No more charcoal is going to come from wherever it is, laden and about to get. Can we bite it? If you're going to ride a bike, you're going to go through a proper training, and can we afford it? Can we bite the bullet? Hello, who's talking to me?
Hello,
Yes.
Gideon.
Gideon, let me hear you.
Highly shocked that those who are calling talk about the stupidity of these riders. I wonder if they are on the road anyway. I'm an Uber driver, and I use the road basically almost every day. And I see the stupidity of these riders, and I'm sure people are caught. I they follow the or they do what you are saying, because they actually like the road speed of marketers or do lives that when they look, they go and put on the other line. I want this kind of thing because someone is caught and the person got to go, the police or whatever them and then take some from them and then allow them. That is why the two of them keep on it every day. Doesn't the traffic light regulation on the road apply to them? They see red lights and come with them, then do you a doctor someone who deliberately neglected road instructions and ran an accident then you are oh no.
0302216541. Hello, who's talking to me?
I'm Fred from Ouija.
Fred, let me hear you.
Yes. The new phenomenon now is big trucks fixing LED lights.
Yes.
When they get close to you, you will not see anything.
Yes, I'm listening.
When they get close to you, you will not see anything. They are cargo trucks, sprinters, articulator trucks, and these lights are fixed on the dim lights. So if you on the so they cannot lower it. You will not see anything. They pass through police barriers. Nobody cares. They get close to you. You virtually will have to run close to the bush. And police sees it. They pass by. If you drive at night, they pass by police, and they just move on. And this will continue to cause accidents. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The question is, folks, are we ready, to bite the bullet? Imagine they say, look, before you drive an Orvan or a Sprinter van, you should be 35, and for your insurance to be lower, you should have been married with some kids so that they know that you're a bit more responsible. You don't want to go and kill yourself. You can't just be 21, 19 and hop on a Sprinter van so they will be Cape Coaster. But I mean, if such a law came out, are we going to jump up and down and say, hey, the government is killing the youth? Are we ready to put our foot down for what it takes? Hello, who's talking to me?
Hello, I'm Jonathan, please.
Jonathan, let me hear you.
Yeah, I get 3 words from all your discussions. Number 1, whether we are ready to buy the bullet. Number 2, nobody cares. Number 3, we should not blame the politicians.
No.
But I think we should blame the politicians.
No. You see, you see, I'm not saying that the politician is right. What I'm just asking that, I mean, there's so many factors on road accidents. But today I am asking us, should the politician wake up today and say, I'm going to enforce all the laws? Will we as a citizen take it? Are we going to say, well, we won't vote for you? Look at what the Okada people did in the last election. MPP says, I won't allow it. This one say, I'll allow it. They say, well, then we'll vote for the one who allow it. And then everybody left it to be. That was the reality.
If the politician is determined, he can do it. But if we see politician who sees deaths on the road, 33 people died around Kintampo, 2 children killed, another in Kasua, and then the leader says nothing about that, but has time to write a letter to Britain that somebody is dead there. No priorities. This is why we have the problem. We don't know our priorities. It starts from the top. When the top gives...
Hello?
Hello, Nana. Good evening.
Good evening. Who am I talking to?
This is Lukman from Peshinongwa.
Lukman, let me hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. You know what? So, sometimes we don't own up the problem that we have from we individuals. All the time, we always want to blame politicians, the leaders. You see, you elect somebody to lead you. If you are a follower, then the person can lead you. But you elect the leader and you refuse the person to lead you. How can the person lead you? You see what is happening in this country. The people that we are blaming, if they get up today and say they want to enforce the laws, the same people will come out and tell that we will vote against you. The same thing happened. MPP lost 2008 election just because of law enforcement. I don't know whether you remember what happened in 2008.
I don't know.
They came out to make sure that they enforce those who sell things on the street. The drivers who were driving recklessly on the road, they started arresting them. They said the restriction that they would vote for MPP. So it is we are owing up the problem. We the individual, each and every one of us, the problem that we have been creating, we should solve it by ourselves before the leaders can follow. They do the right thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much too. 0302216541. Hello, who's talking to me?
Hello, Nana. Good evening.
Good evening.
This is Edward.
Edward.
Nana, thank you very much for this opportunity given. Nana, I'm asking whether we need law before we will reason, or we should reason before we get ourselves laws. Why must the citizens pray that there should be a law that can help us that killing someone on the road is something that we must put a stop to? Thank you very much for bringing this topic, but I pray our drivers will change their way of driving on the road. Thank you very much.
Thank you. 0302216541. Hello, who's talking to me?
Good evening, Nana.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm very well.
This is Juwanu.
Let me hear you.
It's been a while.
Yes.
Yes. Nana, do you know what is about to happen regarding the Pokwasi interchange?
No, tell me.
I think somewhere last month we had about 771 deaths from road accidents.
Mm-hmm.
When the vaccine for the coronavirus came, almost all media stations were playing adverts on it. When are we going to have animation videos regarding the interchange? When are we going to have animation videos regarding the interchange? How to use it, how to navigate your way around it? Are we waiting to start using it before we realize that it's actually another death trap?
Food for thought. Those with ears, let them hear. Hello, who's talking to me?
Nana, good evening. This is Abuja Jackson.
Let me hear you.
Yeah, Nana, thank you very much for this program.
Mm-hmm.
Driving go a lot with a lot of elements.
Mm-hmm.
Our lighting system, the road marking, the road network, and the enforcement of driving law or driving regulation on the law. But Nana, what do we see? You yourself, in your introduction, you said something. You travel to Tamale Kame, you see a lot of these charcoal cars loading, overloading, passing our barriers. We have police. Are they stop those cars and ask them to offload the load and reload it? No, they just take their 1 CD or 2 CDs and allow them to go. We are in this country. I remember in Kintapo, it's not a day serve, let's say about an hour or 2 hours, about 30-something or 40-something people die. Takrari Road, about 30-something die. All of us will come on radio and come and make noise and speak a big English. Mm-hmm. Some of the English nobody will understand. We go and sleep. When it happens, we come back again. And nobody is taking any action. For me, I will blame we, the citizens, everybody, and go back to the leaders. Nana, do you know our problem in this country? It's just simple. But everybody is aware, but we refuse to think about it. We respect money in this country too much. So now everybody wants to get the money. That's why we are suffering. And it will continue like this, Nana. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for calling. Hello, Nana. My proposed solution to ensure road safety. 1, positive commitment and ownership to the rules and regulations. 2, the politicians, big men, senior civil servants should show the way. 3, continuous education and advocacy activities. Good evening from Anna Awiti. Hello, who's talking to me on the phone?
Yeah, Nana, this is Francis.
Francis, let me hear you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Yeah, Nana, I really cannot get you with your question this evening.
I'm saying, if tomorrow the police, the politician, whoever said that we are going to enforce all road laws to the letter, will we, the citizens, accept it, or will we say no, they are being too harsh?
So, Nana, what are you looking for?
No, I'm looking for the truth. And the truth is that we will say no, they are being too harsh. That is the truth.
So what is the purpose of the law?
Well, that's why I'm saying that we also are to blame. Before we point a finger at the politician, I'm saying that you and I, we also have to find, search within our souls and find out why it is we are the way we are.
You see, Nana, that is the way you want to see it. But you see, I am saying this thing differently.
Mm-hmm.
You see, the law is set of rules and regulations meant for good behavior. The law is there meant for good behavior. So if we are not able to implement the law, then absence of good behavior is what we will get.
And that's exactly what we are getting. And I mean, the clear issue goes back to the Okada issue. Currently, using motorbike as a commercial, carrying pillion passengers is illegal. NDC says, when I come, I'm going to scrap that law, make it legal. MPP says, no, I'm still going to make it illegal. Everybody riding a bike says, well, then I'm going with NDC. MPP says, well, then, Misumejemu. That's it. Last caller, hello.
Great King.
Yes, sir.
You live long.
You live long.
This is a great topic that you brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Papa and I'm calling from Latte Equiapem.
Let me hear you.
Chief, you see, the police and the politicians has to enforce the law.
But will you and I accept it?
You see, some of us will accept it. But those who wouldn't accept should be arrested. You see, yesterday, every weekend, I come to Accra, Monday, Tuesday, back to Latte. Yesterday, I was from the airport, the Palace Mall, coming to St. Holmes, Chadu. A Uber driver entered into the roundabout. I think he was confused. And I realized that I could have killed the occupant in the car. The man was confused. If you look at what the Greater Accra Regional Minister is doing.
Thank you very much. All too soon. That's what time would allow us. But talking about Palace Mall and the Palace Runabout, for those of you who know it, if you sort of the Action Chapel, towards the Sphincters, that area, you come to the runabout and you're carrying on straight. There's a ditch, in one of the exit that goes towards Sphincters. And so when all cars get there, they slow down. 2 weeks ago, I talked about this thing. I mean, it would take about 6-8 wheelbarrows of bitumen to fill it. Ubisa won't say, dang, should this even be an issue to be talked about on radio? Why? And it's still there. And authorities are there earning their keep. It's pathetic. But whoever it is that's responsible, go and check it out. In the meantime, it's Overdrive with Sammy Forsen. It's been wonderful. We'll look at the other aspects of this show. But today we have all agreed that we are part to blame. Well, your new malaria advocate stroke ambassador, Awod Ansah, says, don't forget to sleep under your mosquito nets. Always test for malaria before you use any medication, because we must drive malaria out of Ghana. I think one day I need to do a show on malaria. If you go in Gorgeous Beg, Brisu be seen, then Tuntum, that's what we are. So Awod Ansah is saying that check for malaria, make sure it's positive before you take any medication. In the meantime, next Monday, we'll be back to do it all over again. But we're saying thank you to Abeku Sankofi, our dedicated and loving producer, who is always on the ones and twos. Folks, until the Lions have their own historians. Hey, Nana Ansah, let me acknowledge you. Lawyer Edu Poku, let me acknowledge you. K from the Palace of Osu, let me acknowledge you. Odote, let me acknowledge you. But until the Lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter.